Good morning, friends. Good morning, and thank you for joining a tad early. I have some business of sorts, some legal matters to attend to. So I want to thank you for being with us, joining us this morning. I want to start off with something which is very critical. And I'm going to be, before we go into what's going on, I want to remind you of something because this is something that is going to be my refrain. And if you've ever watched me before, you will know what I am talking about. You will know what I am talking about. And it's this thing called proof. Now, I am old school. Remember something? I want to tell you that I was born on Tuesday, September the 11th, 2001. That was my day where I was born again, my red pill moment, my whatever you want to call it, whatever the phrase is. This is when my life changed, when I went through a tragic event. I was front and center, saw it 100% up close. I saw it. I was there. It wasn't just, I was there at Gettysburg, at the battle scene. I was right there on 9/11 in New York, right here. I could smell it. I could see it. I knew people. The sirens, the smell was there every single day on the battle line. And what people were showing was not what we saw. Now, there were two different things I want to explain to you. This is important. So follow along with me. This is very, 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 very critical. And let me also say that you are so great and kind and wonderful and joyous to be joining us this early. It means a lot. And I appreciate that. But this is something which I have to bring to your attention, okay? And I hope you're following me on this X thing. I still can't say X. I can't. I don't know why. Follow us at Lionel Media, which is very, very important, which is really critical. Also, make sure you subscribe to this. If you haven't subscribed, it doesn't benefit us. We need your metrics and your love. And also, we want you to like this video and to subscribe at all. And make sure you hit that little bell, that notification bell. And while we're at it, let me always say this. We thank our great sponsors like our friends at Noble Gold, of course, Noble Gold Investments right here at 877-646-5347. Or go to noblegoldinvestments.com and tell them Lionel sent you. You won't be able to believe what they're doing. And also our friends at MyPillow. MyPillow, use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. You can go to mypillow.com/Lionel or call 800-645-4965. We love our sponsors and they love us. Now, I want to get back to this thing very quickly. I saw things that were happening. I saw the government, the media, in essence, refuse to recognize, as an example, Building 7. They never acknowledge Building 7. They still have it. To this day, there are people who know nothing about it. A perfectly formed steel structure that on 5:20 p.m. fell. Nobody even know. They talk about the two towers. There's a picture that we all formulate when they say never forget. They have two beams of light. Our picture has three beams of light. How can you miss a building that fell? If there's one thing I have to know, I've got to know, how did you miss this? How do people in the news media miss this? Go up and ask them. People even in New York. That blew my mind. I'm not saying how it fell, who was responsible. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying, how did you miss this third steel structure? It fell. There's no doubt. There it is. They missed it. Okay, now, so you got this group that didn't notice it. Then you've got the other group of people who will say, well, here's why it fell. And they come up with reasons and theories with no proof available whatsoever. None. How does that work? How does that happen? I have no idea. But they come up with a theory. Well, the reason is directed energy weapons have been around since ever. and or the theories, and directed energy weapons were responsible for this. Because if you notice, and there's always somebody online who have a very nice, uh, uh, you know, presentation. They'll reference, here's Lockheed Martin, here's Raytheon. See, they admit it's called directed energy weapons. Uh-huh. Yeah, we also have nuclear weapons. That's coming too. And they'll have a map, and they'll say these are used in war. Okay. So is explosives. Right, right, right. People were also making connections as to thermate, all kinds of percussive, without showing why. But they would say, well, this is what's used to cut steel. Okay, we know that. Are you saying it was used here? Well, I'm not sure about that. Well, then don't bring it up. Yeah, but it seems to me. So what they do is they will watch a video. Now, by the way, remember what I'm saying is doesn't mean there's nothing to this. It means the way they're proving it isn't. They'll watch something which is important. They will see something which piques their curiosity, which intrigues them. They will notice this, and then they are off to the races. Off to the races, and then they will there you just start seeing this. So somebody this morning, again, I've got to say this because this is, and I'm going to say this because every time maybe I can help someone. Maybe I can help. Maybe if I can help somebody with this, it'll help in the long run, because we're always trying to put together causal connections, causal things. Okay, first. So what you'll see is somebody will say they have these weapons, they have these things, they have these people. Somebody says something, but you imagine you are in a jury, and you say, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we have the following information," and I want to mention this here. As far as Lahaina, and it sounds like Lahaina, and I'm going to prove to you, we are here, we are the prosecution, we're going to prove to you that on Lahaina, directed energy weapons were used. We don't know exactly by who gave the okay, but directed energy weapons were used, and here is the evidence of how they were used here to incite. To incite, ignite, cause, uh, uh, propagate, whatever this conflagration. Let me repeat this again. Imagine you're in front of a jury, and they're saying, "Okay, say the word, prove beyond a reasonable doubt." You can even do preponderance of the evidence in a civil case. I'll make it easy for you. Do a civil case. What do you have? Ladies and gentlemen, what are directed energy weapons? Here is a video. Okay, that's very interesting. Did you know this? No, I didn't. Well, they've been around for a long time, and everybody has known about them. All kinds of forms, lasers, electromagnetic, there's all kinds of things. Can you see these things? Can you see a laser? Is it within that? I guess. I don't know, but they exist. Okay, good. Here, our next piece of evidence, this is what we call the proof evidence. This looks like a bomb hit it. Repeat those words. Remember what I'm saying. This looks like a bomb hit it. Now say those words repeatedly. It looks like a bomb hit it. And then you will repeat this, and then other people in the group will say this. It does. It looks like a war zone. It does. Have you ever been in a war zone? No. But it looks like a bomb hit it. Okay. Then they'll do this. Do you see right here? This is a car that was incinerated. You see this? Yeah. Now, right next to this car is another car that wasn't incinerated. That looks almost like it wasn't touched. Or this home. Look at this home. This home was burned, but the trees around it are okay. Versus this home where the trees are burned, but not that. And the reason is obvious. What they're doing is they're saying this is targeted by virtue of these videos. And I have received so many from you wonderful folks sending me, no, this is another woman. I saw one that talked about chakras, and talked about everything but proof. Everything. Everything. History of directed energy weapons, satellite, a video of, hey, what's that? What's that light? I don't know. Okay. But the one I love was chakras, and they're very interesting. And they inspire interest, and they inspire curiosity. They inspire a lot, but they do not in any way, shape, or form, in any way prove anything. And I received one from a very nice fellow, sent me 3 videos, proved nothing. And I wanted to get on a plane, fly over, knock on his house and say, I'm not going to leave here until you look me in the eye and say, I understand what proof means. And I cannot be any more clear about this. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, and I know you mean well, and we all mean well. And I know sometimes we don't separate things. We don't separate our wish from our hope from the proof. Proof is my area. You are going to be seeing people all the time, and you're seeing this now. So-and-so dies, what we think, mysteriously. A 24-year-old college athlete drops dead of a heart attack. A 13-year-old, while playing, drops dead of a heart attack. So-and-so, in the peak of his, drops dead, maybe of a heart attack, drops dead. And there is a friend of mine, a very nice fellow, who is a member of the new, he has a kind of a ominous voice. And he says, the question we all want to know, was he jabbed? Was he boosted? Stop. Stop the record. Imagine we're in a trial. I'm the defense. I get up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you know what the other question was? Familial predisposition. Other people in his family. Was he under any other medication at the time? Did he suffer? Correlation and cause. Proof. I'm not going to let you go with this one. I'm not going to let you say, okay, yeah. No. Because there's going to be something else. We hear it all the time. So-and-so went crazy. This woman went crazy and got a gun and started shooting people. Was she under SSRIs? What does that have to do with anything? In our world, in our stirring the pot, so to speak, world, in the island of the conspirators, we have this idea that SSRIs cause murder, rapacious, terrible behaviors. We believe this. We believe this. This is what we believe in. This is an article of faith. If you want to be a member of the club and get the pin and the decoder ring, you've got to understand this. Why? Because it's a popular meme trope. What are the facts? They have been associated with it. There is a warning sign in literature that says either improper, accelerated, or whatever you want to call use or titration or whatever could lead to suicide or whatever it is. So therefore, SSRIs cause this behavior. And people will say it, and they don't even realize what they're saying. Myocarditis. Everybody right now is into myocarditis. Have you ever studied myocarditis? No. How many people died of myocarditis last year? I don't know. What about juvenile myocarditis? I don't know. What causes it? I don't know. Have you looked at the literature? No, I haven't looked at the literature. I haven't seen this. But on the island of the conspirator, we are told in our kit, along with SSRIs, when you hear myocarditis, you think vaccine. You just put the two together. Good as causes. Good. This caused this. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to say if you want to be a good member of this. Also, jabs, boosts. It's the sole focus. See, and then you in the group on the island will be clapped from people who say, yes, that's the way to think. Yes. Because you focused on something for the first time in an area. Another friend of mine, I've got many, many friends, discovered mRNA. He believes messenger RNA was somehow used, was created by Pfizer or just. I said, do you know what RNA is? Messenger RNA versus DNA versus not a clue. No clue. But he knows this. He also knows that the vaxes were all part of this Gates, Fauci, and throw in the usual suspects. Gates, Fauci, Schwab, World Economic Forum, Great Reset, throw it into the mix. Again, if you say that, just like if you use the word groovy in the old days, or that's hilarious, no worries, no problems. Getting the nomenclature, the argot, the lexicon. Again, no proof, nothing, absolutely nothing. Here's one of the old days. Steroids cause violence. Well, they have caused violence, but you know how many people are on steroids and nothing ever happens? No, that's a good point. But it doesn't matter. That destroys it. So let me go back to what I'm saying. So I received these very nice videos from people who all have the same. It's almost like a template. This looks like a bomb. Do you know what bombs look like? No. I'm going to show you some Hiroshima pictures. Why is that building standing and this one isn't? I don't know. Well, you're an expert in this, right? What do you think that was? Do you understand the issue is not do laser weapons exist? No. Do you know that the issue is not whether directed energy weapons exist? No, that's not the issue. It's not the issue. It's not the issue at all. That's not the issue. That's not it. It doesn't work like that. That's not the issue. And you're saying, well, here's Raytheon. No. You're confusing the existence of them. Nuclear bombs, neutron bombs. We know they exist. You've got to have somebody who says for the record, stay for the record, yes. My name is so-and-so, Colonel whatever. I'm with the United States Air Force. And I activated a weapon system. And this is a picture. This, what you see right now, this beam, yes. Well, you're not going to see the beams. They're not within the light spectrum. You don't see every laser. You don't see every electromagnetic. You don't see these things. You don't see microwaves. You don't see this stuff. So people have in their own mind, maybe because of Buck Rogers or something, I'm dating myself, they believe in green lights and they've done this. And they are just having the time of their life. Great metrics, great. Now, let me stop right there. Directed energy weapons exist. They could have been used. Absolutely. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. I'm going to say something to you. A video from a nice person with a fake background smiling is not proof. A video that shows pieces of the or snippets from websites explaining directed energy weapons and what that doesn't do it. Videos that show lights and things that fly. I don't know what that is. Most people will tell you that the really good stuff, that the weapon system you don't have good weapons that fire beams and go, oh, there it is. You don't want the enemy to necessarily see you. So a lot of this stuff, electromagnetic radiation, microwaves, all this other stuff, they don't, whatever it is. Now, there's other stuff which is interesting, and dare I even mention this, but I'm not, because very few people are picking up on this. And by the way, let me just caution, this is not proof. But this is something that makes you say, like, as you know, people and I have been talking about geoengineering for a long time. Geoengineering, where we have been wondering what exactly are people spraying in the atmosphere. Either these nanoparticulate matters, barium, strontium, and the like, that can electrify, that can metallicize. And I just came up with that word. metallicize. That something can make the atmosphere, in essence, metallic. And once you do that, once you are able to make metallic certain, I have read, posited, thought perhaps, and implore that there be initial and additional uh, investigation. I'm not giving this as proof. I have no proof of this. I'm telling you, but it's interesting. But you can, it has been suspected that you can possibly use this new chemical and metallic construction of the atmosphere to perhaps accentuate weapon systems, accentuate whatever. Now, I know this is important to you, and I know that this is so critical, and I know that people mean well, and I know that people are not in any way trying to be duplicitous, and I know that this may be problematic to you, but I want you to listen and listen good. Okay, we have a problem in this country, and let me explain to you what the problem is. The problem, and we'll get to a little bit about the Trump RICO stuff and everything, but this is important. And I'm going to give you an analogy. It's called an analogy, a metaphor, an analogy. It works something like this. One of the worst parts about some diseases is that they are asymptomatic. Diabetes. If any of you folks are diabetic, you will know that at the height sometimes of your absolutely just dangerous blood sugar levels, I mean, you may be just, you may not really feel, you may feel a little lethargic, you may pee a lot, but you're not walking around in agony yet. Because the problem with diabetes is that it is asymptomatic for the most part. When there's if there's renal breakdown or, blindness or hypertension, then you realize it. But there is no, it's not like you cut yourself and the pain is in the cut. We are in this country right now, and the problem is that we're having major organ failure. Our country as a system is dying in terms of its liberty, its freedoms, everything that makes it great is dying. And it's asymptomatic. Most people are walking around, they're saying, I really don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. You talk about liberty and freedom, but I'm doing just fine. We're retired. We're all doing this. I don't know what you're talking about. I watch Fox News. I know what's going on. I watch Fox News, which is the biggest disinformation, agitprop, psyop, whatever conspirator word you love of the day, because we love jargon. We love it like you cannot believe it. Well, I don't want to black pill you. Ooh, very good. Remember when you were a kid and you do these hearing tests, put these headphones on, and you say, when you hear the noise, raise your finger. Which ear? And we always tell each other, don't raise your finger. No matter how much this thing's loud. We would hear tones coming from some poor guy's headphones, and he's sitting there, but not raising his hand to make this nurse think, what are they, all deaf? America doesn't hear anything, doesn't see anything, doesn't feel anything, doesn't know what's going on. Has no idea. We're talking about stuff. People are saying, excuse me, can I go back to the TikTok video of the mom and her daughter dancing in the kitchen? Do you mind if I do this? I don't know what this is. Do you mind if I go back to the picture of my mom of this duck playing the piano or something? I don't know what you're talking about. This is where we are. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to be apostles. We need to be apostles of truth, and we have to be scientists, and we have to use the instruments of proof. And we have been for the longest time absolutely, positively, completely, totally. We just don't understand proof. I have a dear friend of mine, one of my dearest friends, evangelical Christian minister. I said, if you had to prove Jesus or God to somebody, what would you do? In his love. No, stop. That's jargon. That's revival tent stuff. They're going to ask you, okay, I want to, because he always wants to convert people. If they ask you, give me the proof, you'll know it. No, stop. Excuse me. No, that's not it. You can't do it. Astrology. How does astrology work? You see, when the magic pickle is flying in the no, stop. No, that doesn't prove anything. You're just kind of explaining something. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. You live in a world where you don't even know what proof means. Proof means nothing to you. It's hunch, suspicion, or an alternative hypothesis that you kind of like. I don't know a friend. You might know the name. This guy, something happened to me. And the mystical magic of the beauty and the chakra and the center of the energy. You know what? Look, if that makes you happy, I don't know what he's talking about. What are you talking about? Now, sometimes things don't have proof. For example, love. If you told me I'm in love, I know what that means. I'm in love. I got that. It's hard to, it's no meter for it. Yeah, but you got me. So I don't need everything put on a meter. But when it comes to this, we sound like a bunch of nuts. I'm just going to tell you right now. We sound crazy. We sound lunatic. I have people I know in the business who are still making the connection between 5G and vaccines. And I don't even know what I say. Well, what are you saying? Don't you understand? I know what 5Gs are. No, 5Gs are exist. I know it exists. Here, let me give you their website. No. They'll put together a video. They'll have a 5G tower, a kid crying and then they'll make a connection of something. Where's the proof of it? Just tell me. Without proof, it's just guesswork. Now, you can probably say, this is probably, and I'll say, you know what? I'm with you. We're not ready to go to trial yet, but you're right. So we need more. We need more evidence of this. All my life, I've been hearing correlation and cause screwed up. They've been telling me that if you listen to this music, it'll make you crazy. This music will make you do drugs. This music, no, stop saying that. Now, I'm just going to do this because there's going to be something tomorrow there's going to be another pandemic. There's going to be another drug. There's going to be another thing. There's going to be another whatever. Does TikTok make you crazy? Do social media websites make you crazy? Does what we used to call pornography, does it make people crazy? There's always a cause of everything. Do steroids cause violent behavior? Do vaccines cause premature death? I don't know anybody who's dead. I don't know anybody. Well, maybe that's no. You don't think that's important? Name the disease. I know it. Brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, diabetes, hypertension. I know. Does any of this mean anything? No, it doesn't. Why? Because this destroys my narrative. I live in a world on my conspiratorial special island with my friends, and we like to think. You still can't believe what's happening regarding 9/11. We still and I have spent, I swear to God, more. I still can't tell you what the hell happened. I mean, I can tell you what happened, but I can't tell you who's who. I don't know. And people say, oh, no, inside job. It was Cheney. Where are you getting this from? No, don't you? And they'll point to something. Don't you understand? Norman Mineta. I know the stand down order. What does that mean, that Cheney did it? No, you don't even know what proof means. You'll point to something at you, but they will say, this is an anomaly. So therefore, that means it's true. No, that is evidence of suspicion, which requires proof. This is where we live. And you have got to get this thing down, because when you walk away, and let me be very, very clear. When you act like a grade A nut, you hurt us all. You are a missionary of truth, an apostle. You're out there spreading the holy word of truth. And when you say things, when you miss the point, when you go out and for example, let me go back to the Trump thing. And I mentioned this last night. Do you know what the biggest objection to the Trump business is? Do you know what the biggest objection to a Fannie Willis, her racketeering? The biggest. This is absolutely the truth. I'm not just saying this. And by the way, I'm not some Trump lover. I don't think everything Trump did was. I think he was intended for this to be criminal, but a lot of it's just beyond stupid. But anyway, here's my question. Very, 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 very simple. Do you know what the problem is? Racketeering. This Fannie Willis thought, I'm going to go out with a bang. I think. I don't know. I've never talked to her. Do you know what racketeering was? Have you ever met wise guys? Well, in the old days, believe it or not, it was as mysterious as you could believe. Before Donnie Brasco, before Joe Valachi, before Vinnie Teresa, before the McClellan Commission, before the Kefauver Commission, before anything, nobody knew who these people were. They didn't know, what is this? There was really nothing like it. Organized crime really, really, really didn't exist. It didn't exist. There were people who did stuff, but it wasn't an organized conspiracy. It wasn't, well, I should say there was a conspiracy sometimes, but it wasn't an organization. Well, what happened with the mob? The mob for the first time came along and said, we are a part of a group. A group? Yes. And you are asked to join. You are proposed for membership. It's a racketeering organization where you are proposed for membership. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Very interesting. You are proposed for membership. So it is an organization. And when you go out and you are, you're straightened out, you get your badge, you get your button, all this stuff, and you does the pinprick, which everybody knows about, this secret society that everybody understands about. You go out and do your thing. You might collect, you might do this, you might do some drugs, which they say they don't, but they do. You might do whatever it is. Whatever your job is, whatever your scam is, whatever your thing is. Okay, fine. Why do you do it? You do it in perpetuation of the organization. You do it as your job, being a part of the enterprise, the racketeering enterprise. You're committing murder, you're committing this. And by the way, the old days before racketeering, before RICO, racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations statute, and this is important. You couldn't put all these people together. You couldn't put people together in a courtroom because it was so incredibly prejudicial. You're in a courtroom and you're on trial saying, hey, I was collecting numbers. This guy over here is, this guy's, I don't know what the word is, but this guy over here is charged with murder. How are you putting me on trial? You can't put me in a case with a murder. Well, you're all part. No, I'm into numbers. He's a murderer. This one over here is into hijacking. I'm just. So you would have to sever the case, and it was a mess. Robert Blakey, 1971, whatever comes along with racketeering, RICO. Racketeer influence and corrupt organization. And what it is was this idea that we first of all established this thing called a racketeering enterprise. The Gambinos, the Lucchese's, the Colombos, the Genovese, the Boranos, you're part of this group, of this family. And when you act, you're not acting individually. You're acting for for this enterprise. That's what it is. The 19,000, however many people who were there, were a part of basically a law firm trying to contest an election where there was no criminal intent involved. There was no desire to do any of this stuff, but it was to promote the idea that Donald Trump had, that he had won the election. That is not illegal. That is not illegal. In 2000, during the 2000 election, Bush against Gore, there were people like Dershowitz and Larry Tribe and others who worked assiduously, who basically said, we won this. The way you counted, let's throw those ballots out. Let's count these. The ballots that were thrown out should not. The hanging Chad, the pregnant Chad, the this Chad, they did exactly. And I'll bet you on the phone, somebody was saying, listen, I need 2,000 more. Can we get any more? Okay. That didn't mean criminally conspire to create these new. No, it meant, okay, fine. You got the point. Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani were not working as part of the Trump family, this crime organization. There were individuals working almost like a law. It would be like having a law firm being charged with racketeering because they collectively were working to further the criminal goings on of a family, when in fact all they were doing was saying, no, we're representing you. This is what's happening. Now, the question that nobody will tell you is, does this mean that somehow this is going to make its way into reality? Does that mean they're going to all of a sudden say, oh my God, we made a terrible mistake, we're going to drop the charges? No. Does that mean that rational thought will prevail? No. No. Not at all. So what's going on? Well, let me tell you what's going on here, which is the next step. You're seeing right now a very, very, very interesting recalibration. You're seeing, and by the way, Tucker Carlson has a very important video. Please watch the video of Tucker with Bobby Jr., where Bobby Jr. has been denied Secret Service protection. If this isn't dirty, Hunter Biden's got Secret Service protection. Somebody said John Bolton still has Secret Service. I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard. Jesse Jackson had Secret Service. Ronald Reagan had Secret Service protection 500 days out before. I mean, just go down the list. I think George Wallace had it. I mean, it's just the most incredible thing in the world. So anyway, so that's going on right there. So that's interesting. I want you to also spend a little time and just watch this. If you want, have a little party with your friends and watch this one called How Stupid Has Fox News Become? Who is running the show? What do they emphasize? They're making it girly, giddy, goofy, and bimbo. And I'm saying that because all you have to do is look and see. Look at it. No gravitas, no seriousness, no. And by the way, Roger Ailes was also into that bimbo business too. Don't get me wrong. He used to always like to watch the people on TV with the sound off. You go, what would you like this one? Would you like to do, whatever. And there's always been that to an extent. But I want you to see what's going on. I want you to ask yourself this question. What is the fixation that they have and others have with Miranda Devine and the Hunter laptop? This is the most important issue to them. That's over. That train has left the station. Why is anybody talking about why is this? They want to forget this idea of the Trump. They're keeping the Trump discussion at a minimum. They hate Trump. They hate Bobby Kennedy secretly. And they will never tell you this. This is important. Rupert Murdoch and his family say, we are in charge of, we have to pretend that the old Fox News is still here, but we are going to be 100% with the Bidens. They represent the shadow government. They represent the globalist government. They represent, watch what's happening. It's evident. Cable news has hit critical mass. It is so bad. You're not going to learn anything. You're just not going to get it if you watch this. You have to watch news the way a bookie or a professional gambler watches sports. You ever see a professional gambler? Professional gambler, not somebody who plays on the weekend. You know how he watches the news? Injured list, scouting, inside the blind, so to speak. Who's hurt? What's going on here? Trades, weather. Sometimes it's indoors, doesn't really matter. But what is happening? What is happening? They look at it. They would not be watching, ESPN and hearing the afternoon show about. They watch it differently, deeply, and that's what you have to do. You can't be into this. There are a lot of people who say, I'm into news for the first time. Many of you watching right now are into this for the first time ever. And you have enjoyed thoroughly. You absolutely, thoroughly love this kind of a fun, I don't want to say fun, but you kind of like this new, I don't know, CIA. Well, it used to be CIA. I don't know what it is right now. I'm not really sure. But you love this kind of stuff. And I think it's great. If there's no proof, I'm not interested. Hypotheses mean nothing. It might be good for a while. But here is something that you are saying that's true, but maybe the folks are not saying it correctly. There is something that is happening regarding the notion of, and this is critical, the notion of globalism taking over the world. We'll talk more about that, but it's taking over the world, and it is so serious and so critical and so dastardly. They absolutely have it correct when they're talking about Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the Great Reset, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You don't say Agenda 21, Lahaina fires. No, but again, that causal connection can't be proved. The interplay later on of how Lahaina reconstructs itself, that's a different story. When Oprah Winfrey comes out and tells you, I'm going to be making a very sizable donation, you're going to be buying property. This is beautiful. And wait till you see the phoenixes rise, because you and your others, like Zuckerberg or other, and the other chosen few, are going to reconstruct this and rebuild this as part of the chosen globalist reset. Now, whether you're actually the owners of this, I don't know. I never believed that. Prove it otherwise. Don't tell me that Oprah Winfrey, just sitting on her own, says, I'm a property baroness, and I have all this stuff just for my own personal wealth. Really? Yes. I have my wealth because of my brilliance and really? You own all this stuff? You sure? How much do you think people don't own anything? But they're saying, I don't care. If you have use of something to the end of time, do you really care whether, if it's like a great, when people have these, title sharing type of thing. Anyway, pay attention to that. Do study that. Do understand the configuration. Do understand this. Do understand how the world has changed and how we have to keep watching Lahaina 6 months from now. We're not going to recognize it. Look who the new ownership is. Look at all of a sudden, look at the number of low-income housing, and look how this is part and parcel of a bigger superstructure and governmental command. And by all means, and I'm going to say this again and again, learn proof, not a good video, not a good narrative, not somebody who brings up interesting connections. Whether it's JFK, RFK, MLK, 9/11, Vietnam, whatever it is, vaccines, myocarditis, steroids and violence, proof, not correlation. Not, proof. And I really think some people just don't understand what that means. They think, well, no, you didn't prove anything. the jury is going to say not guilty. All right, dear friends, got to run. Have a great and glorious day. Please remember, follow Lynn's Warriors right here on Twitter or X right there at Lynn's Warriors. That's the title, the handle, and Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Please do this. Don't forget our great friends at MyPillow, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, receive a free gift. And by the way, while we're at it, the great folks at Noble Gold Investments, 877-646-5347. Or go to Noble Gold Investments. Look for yourself. Best people I've ever met. All right, dear friends. See you tonight, 7 p.m. Don't ever change the maintenance sincerely. And don't forget, this is the valedictory. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.